Hey guys, what's up? DrumQuig Podcast, episode 22. And I'm super excited for my guest tonight because we have been trying to make this happen for a couple months, something like
Yeah.
that. But timing always happens and music happens, and I'm never going to stop music from happening. But I've got the incredible, talented, whatever else you want to call him. I know he's shaking his head right now. Billy Sanders of MiniM. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Matt?
Pretty good. I know you were already shaking your head because you said you keep it simple when you play. But man, thank you so much for being on the show. And, just to add, and I'm going to give the shout out to Dunedin Brewery right away. Because of them, I was introduced to you guys and got to see you guys play. And I kind of want to talk about just the last few months for you guys because honestly, there's been so much going on. You've got the winning the Creative Loafing Battle of the Bay for 2025 for the best original, like showing that support. But you guys have played at Dunedin Brewery. You guys played at Janice with Guavatron and the Heavy Pets, and you had the Whippersnap Festival. So, like, talk about what it's been like the last 4 or 5 months for you guys.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. Second off, thank you to the Bryants at Dunedin Brewery. They gave us opportunities early on to get us out there, and we'll forever be thankful to them. And to answer your question, somebody pinched me because I feel like I'm dreaming right now. I'm playing all the venues and the festivals that as a fan I was at before I picked up drumsticks again and was like, I would love to do this. So it's been a whirlwind, and we're just trudging forward, trying to, provide some new content, some new material, and to keep it fresh for everyone so that we can continue to make people dance. I mean, that's why I'm in it. I hadn't touched drumsticks in probably about 15 years. And one of my good friends, John, and his girlfriend took me to a Works concert in 2017, the Works at Janice. And they dropped into like a 20-minute Mad World with like a disco breakdown in the middle. It started raining. It was crazy. And we're getting into the Uber that night. And I told them, I was like, hey guys, I want to make people feel the way that I just felt right now in that crowd. And they're like laughing at me. They have no idea that I played drums when I was younger. And then fast forward to COVID, when you had to figure out what to do with your time.
Yeah.
I was asked to jam with a buddy Ross and some other friends, Michael. And it was really cool just to get back playing with people. We were at our buddy Henry's house. We were playing with another guy, Adam, that does percussion. And we kind of just had this kind of joke of an idea like, hey, let's get a band together and play a house party. And Henry lived west of 4th Street, and we played in his second bedroom that he had. And we did this house party, and it kind of came together. It was really a lot of fun. And we ended up starting a band called West of 4th. And that provided the foundation to some of the songs that we continue to still play today. And life happens. Henry no longer lives in Florida. Adam had some other stuff that he had to take care of with work. And we kind of just molded it into something new, which became MiniM.
Yeah.
We brought on David Rackauer on keys, which is a really
Fantastic.
nice addition. Yep.
Fantastic.
And at that time, the core band was Ross Borgia, Michael Hibbler, David Rackauer, and myself. We got an opportunity. Really was just amazing that Andy Lytle and the guys at OBJ, Orange Blossom Jam, gave us an opportunity to play that festival.
Heck yeah.
And who else was in the crowd? Shane Levine, who, came up, introduced himself. I'm forgetting a key point of this MiniM resurgence. Hunter Ritchie.
Oh my God, Hunter.
Bass bomb. Okay. I cannot believe that I left him out of that recap of the resurgence of the band. He's been an amazing addition to the band, traditionally a guitarist who saw us play as West of 4th and was like, I'd love to jam with you guys sometime. And when Henry moved away, we were kind of like, hey, Hunter, we want you to jam with us, but we're going to stick a bass guitar in your hand. Let's see what happens. So he started playing bass basically when he started jamming with the band.
Wow.
But the OBJ set was special. That was our first real nice opportunity to have some responsibility to be able to fill a set. And Shane hit us up afterwards. It was like, hey, I'd love to jam with you sometime. I play percussion. And it just magically happened that way. And now, since then, we lost Ross. He had some health issues and had to step back from the band. We still really appreciate the lyrics and concepts of some of the core songs that we continue to play today. He played a huge part in that. And then it was like, where do we go from here? And then Brendan is now currently doing lyrics and guitar and or singing and guitar. He's also writing some new material for us. He just happened to move from Orlando. He was playing with a band in Orlando regularly that he could no longer commit his time to, and it
What
was like
timing. What
just
timing.
it was
Like,
magical the way everything happened. So that's where we're at right now. Hunter, David, Michael, Brendan, and myself, as well as Shane. And, we just really appreciate the support that we get from the St. Pete music community. That's really like the core of why we've been able to do what we do. It still blows my mind when I walk around town and I see people with MiniM merch. I kind of joke around with people. I'm like, oh, cool hat, crappy band. They get a good laugh, because I'm just so hard on myself, which might be the reason why we've been able to continue to get better and better. I mean, if you listen to some of our early stuff, we're on archive compared to some of the stuff that we're putting out right now. I'm proud for the growth that we've had.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and it just blows my mind that we still continue to have these opportunities to play these big festivals. I mean, if you would have told me in 2017, getting in that Uber, hey, someday you're going to play Halloween, which we did a few years ago. You're going to play GMF, a festival that used to be my birthday festival because I'm a March baby and it used to be usually the weekend of my birthday. I would have laughed at you. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to play a house party. Like,
Yeah.
that's just what I'm trying to do.
No,
But
and it's you bringing up the GMF, the Gasparilla Music Festival. You guys are playing that again this year, coming up here on the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. So again, like,
yeah.
to go from that Uber to being on that stage, like, what a journey, what an experience you've had.
hmm Yeah, it's been amazing. And we really love GMF. We love that festival. There's a large spectrum of different experiences you can have at festivals. You feel like a rock star when you're playing that festival. They really go out of their way to make the artist feel special and to try and provide the best production as possible. I mean, same experience at Whippersnap. You know, you feel like a rock star when you're at these festivals. And it's been a pleasure to have an opportunity to also bring my family along to these festivals. I joke around. The only time I ever see anything borderline that has ego involved is I don't go to festivals anymore unless I play them, and that's like my little joke. And it's the truth, because with life, I have two kids. I have a 5-year-old William and a 3-year-old Olivia. And
Oh
with two kids,
goodness.
it's my approach to music from a fan standpoint has totally changed over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So having this opportunity to have an excuse to still go let my hair down a little bit has been amazing. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind, man.
I can't even imagine. So, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that you stopped playing. You hadn't picked up sticks in
Mhm.
like 15 years. Where did it all begin and what stopped it? Like, what was let's start from the beginning and go to that stopping point of, putting them
So
down for a
growing up,
bit.
no, that's a great question. So growing up, I was always involved in music, theater or acting, and learned how to play the piano by ear from a very young age. Always had a piano in the home. And I remember the first day I hit the first 3 notes of Mary Had a Little Lamb. And then it like
Mhm.
clicked in my head. And then I like spent the next 2 days trying to figure out the rest of it. And then it was just off to the races from there. My father was a classical trumpet player growing up. So I always had a trumpet in the home, and I had the opportunity in 5th grade to start playing trumpet, learning how to read music for that. Now, at the same time, my mom's older brother, George, was a drummer. So my earliest memories of the drums were going over to his house. He always had a music room, a wall full of records, and then this chrome pearl set that just got
Mm.
the light reflecting off of it, made it look like the top of the Chrysler building. Like, it was the most amazing thing. And the other drum sets that I was around growing up were always in church, and you were never allowed to touch them. There was like
Nope.
you couldn't even look at them, much less touch them. They'd take the cymbals off of them so that no one would play them. And George never did that to me. He always let me jump on the kit. And when he saw that I had an interest in percussion, he showed up at my house. I was probably in 3rd grade with buckets, and he taught me how to play on buckets. Now, my whole neighborhood hated me for the next year
Oh
or two.
God. Yeah. They
Like,
hated you.
absolutely hated me, because I'd be out in the front yard. I'd had 3 different buckets. I learned how to pop it up on the corner when I wanted to change the tone, um, and just started getting my licks in. And then fast forward about a year or two, that 5th grade experience of being able to start trumpet in an organized setting, we had a snare drum player. Now, the snare drum had to be walked from the drum set that was in another building to the room where we practiced in. And I caught on. I started telling the guy, I was like, hey, I got to wait for my dad. I'll just
Hold
walk
on.
the snare drum back for you. But I did it knowing that I could play the kit when I dropped it off. Yeah, so I would convince the kid. I was like, no, you don't have to do it. I'll walk the snare drum back for you. I also was a little sneaky and I started lying to my dad and telling him that rehearsal ended like 30 to 45 minutes later than it actually did.
Yep.
Well, I'm left-handed. Guess what? The drum set that I had to walk the snare back to is right-handed. So I spent the better part of probably a good 9 to 10 months spending 30 minutes at a time, forcing myself how to learn how to play right-handed.
Yeah.
I finally got caught. I got in trouble and they like came to my father like I had like done something like gravely terrible, and that was the moment where my dad, made a decision, behind my back, hey, I'm going to go ahead and buy him his first kit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember like it was yesterday, going to sleep. Sorry, my dad passed, so it's a little emotional for me.
Oh,
But no, but like that day where he took me to Sam Ash to buy my first kit, man, I'll never forget that. And I still have the kit till this day. And I got the same chrome pearl kit that my uncle had.
yes. Yeah.
Had no idea how to tune it. My father convinced the guy that sold us the kit to drive out all the way to our house and come help me tune it and set it up. And I was off to the races at that point. I haven't played in a church in over 15 years, but I got an opportunity to get linked in with like the youth band
Yeah.
and regularly gigged every Wednesday night for that through all the way through high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so basically from 7th grade through 12th grade, I was playing every Wednesday night. And, it was a really nice introduction to playing with people and
Yeah.
having to keep tempo. The songs weren't, too complex,
Mhm.
but it built a foundation of being able to play with other people. And then when I went to college, there wasn't room for the drum set anymore. It went into storage, and I still would jump on a kid every once in a while when I had to say, yeah, I heard that one. I heard that one.
I just, I'm like afraid to look out the window.
Yeah, don't look at it. If you don't look at it, it's not happening. But
Jeez.
I'm just happy for the opportunity that my parents gave me to have the freedom to make as much noise as possible. And they realized I was really passionate about it. And, it was just I'll always be thankful for that. And then like, I still jumped on kits every once in a while, maybe just to like surprise somebody every once in a while that I
I
knew
like that. I
how to
like that.
play. But and then having the opportunity to start jamming with the guys of West to Fourth, gave me some fulfillment in an area that I had been lacking in for a long time. So it was beautiful how everything came to fruition.
It really was.
And
And
sorry for
it's,
getting a little emotional on you there for a second.
please, man, we couldn't have planned that. Like we could, like, it's like, all right, at that
And
14-minute moment, you got to start crying. Like that's,
But a nice anecdote about my uncle George, who, my dad never got to see me play with my band now.
mm,
George he went to the first MiniM concert. We did a backdoor party at our buddy Jeff's house. They call it Bear Creek because it's Bear Creek behind his house. It's not Bear Creek in Swanee, but we call it Bear Creek. And George showed up. He's been at every show that he physically possibly can make if he's in town and not busy, decked out in a MiniM hat and a MiniM shirt. My mom, my stepdad, they've been super supportive and come to as many shows as possible. And my family, really tries to show up, when they can. Sometimes it's hard when your mom wants to go to the show because then, she's supposed to be the babysitter. So, there's a lot of back and forth of like who gets to go to shows sometimes. But yeah, my sisters, they're both very musically inclined. My older sister moved to Nashville when she was 18 with a record contract. She's an amazing singer. My younger sister was involved in dance and theater and singing from a very young age through college. And I've just been blessed to be surrounded around music my whole life. It's kind of second nature right now. And you take it for granted, you do take it for granted. I mean, I used to hate having to go see my sisters perform. And now I think back and I'm like, wow, that was really cool that I had that opportunity and I really took it for granted back then.
yeah. I just have to like talk about the fact that it's so funny how trumpet and piano end up making the best drummers. And I just say that because it's like, so my dad played wanted to be a drummer and, played piano. And they were like, no drums, no drums. It's too loud. So he got to play trumpet. I was in high school band and I was on the drum line the first year. And the snare drummer, every time I would move out of his way, if I moved too far, he would just hit me. And those were those like 2B, like just monsters
The
of a
thick
stick.
boys, yeah, they're logs, man.
And I was like, I don't really like this anymore. Yeah, I'll do that. What's that over there? And I ended up learning marimba, which is basically a piano. Like it's literally, and it's so funny when you said Mary Had a Little Lamb. I was like, all right, I do the same thing when I learned how to play one song on guitar, and it's literally just 10 seconds of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. But
Hmm.
I gave everything a number. So for Mary Had a Little Lamb, it was 3 2 1 2 3 3 3. Like it was just how you like.
Yeah.
And I'm like typical percussionist. I'm like typing out language.
Yeah, it's
So,
funny too, because that's exactly how it happens, man. That's exactly how it happens.
and like dad played in church bands. I played with my uncle at his church for a while. Like, and I set up the kit. I'm not left handed, but I used to be. And we talked about it before. I had a German babysitter, so she would smack my hand every time I used it. And up until like 3 years ago, we didn't know anything about my dad's biological parents or anything else. Like we found them like 3 years ago, like found out all this information. And like I was left-handed, my dad's left-handed, his dad was left-handed, my uncle's left. Like it ran in the family, and it's so weird.
Mhm,
So I set up the kit like a left-handed person, but played it righty.
mhm.
And I had a blast. I was like, "Oh, I love this. Like, this is kinda, like, unique and everything else." And then you start to see so many guys because when you're watching the videos, you see these guys playing left-handed. We talked about Rob from Aquios and then you being the left hand. Like, I'm not trying to just find left-hand drummers, but I am stumbling across them left and right, and I love it.
Yeah, Rob's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. Dude blows my mind. I remember seeing them at Crowbar in Tampa for the first time, maybe in like 2018, 2019.
Yeah, so I am so glad you brought that up. So that's how I first heard about them, and I missed that show. So My Children, My Bride was playing at Crowbar that weekend, and I thought they were playing Sunday, and I clicked on Sunday, and it was Aquios. I guess I'll say it right now. I'm gonna call it Aquios for the rest of my life. But I bought the tickets to My Children, My Bride, and I was like, I checked out these guys, and I was like, man, this guy's really good. Like this band is really amazing. Didn't end up going to the show because I was exhausted, and I'm kicking myself to this day because I never got to see them perform live. And I was like, all I had to do was go to Crowbar, spend the $22 it would have been, if that, to go see that show. And yeah, wow, that brought up some wounds of my own there. I was like,
I'm
damn
still I'm
it.
still hoping for a comeback. Oh, when you're a touring musician from a young age and you finally get the opportunity to build a family, I know you know s- one of the guys, was getting married, had a kid, it's
Yeah,
that's tough, That's tough, but those guys are top-notch
yeah.
musicians, like
Absolutely. Rob takes things that are simple and makes them complicated. And I was watching him play at the live at Bluebird, and I'm watching him and I'm just going,
so effortless.
I go, I didn't know you could do that. Like I didn't know that that was possible. And the way he was transitioning from the hi hat to and I was just like, I had it thought up that he was playing it one way, and then I watched him play it, and I go, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't do
whole
that at
'nother
all.
level, and
Yeah,
he's a really nice guy. I
yeah.
had the pleasure of being able to meet him when he was playing with Tand
Oh,
at a festival, at Jamberg, and, through the craziness of trying to shuffle equipment on and off stage to, in between sets and the pressure of just, trying to get ready for a show, he still, made the time to humor me having a little fanboy moment and having to let him know, "Hey, dude, you're awesome. I
that
love watching you play."
I think we're at too much of a point where it's like, oh, fanboying is unacceptable. And like I covered MMA for 16 years and they were like, don't be friends with the people, don't, get selfies with them and do all this stuff. And I would try to be as like professional as possible. And I have to this day, I'm still friends with a bunch of these guys because they were some of the coolest people I've ever met. And they were
Mhm.
humble and they were cool. And they'd be like, let's get a picture. And I'll be like, no, I'm working. And they'd be like, I don't care. We're getting a picture. And I feel like at this point, having anybody on the show, I always go back to, Derek Roddy or Alex Petropoulos. Like I saw Pigeons at Janice a couple weeks later. Alex was on the show and I was like, well, that was cool. And I was like, you're like trying to hold it in. And I kind of feel the same way because I've got to see you play, you know, in front of 200 people and I've got to see you play in front of hundreds of people. if not thousands, when you talk about Janice. That place was packed. That place was packed that night.
That dude, I didn't see that coming. We were the opener for the opener.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on?
And we were there
It
for
was
all of it.
amazing. It was amazing. And everybody was so energetic, so supportive. And then to have you, it's just this beautiful smile. You exude just happiness and positivity. Like, pull me aside and ask me to sign your hat. Like, I thought you were joking at first.
Oh, it's over there.
Oh, the lightning's behind you on the other side now.
There
Oh,
it
the
is.
hat. Oh, the hat.
It's right
Yeah,
there.
man. I mean, because I'm so hard on myself, and these shows are like, I'm a social butterfly, but when I get to these shows, I tend to like try to avoid conversations. I get kind of, I still get nervous, man. You
But,
know, and it
well, it
was
was
great.
Hunter
Just
who did it.
thank you.
Hunter did it because I recognized Hunter and I gave him one of the tickets and he was like, I'm going to go get our drummer for you. And he came back and that's
He
when I met you.
did.
Yeah. And
He did.
I was like, that was cool.
Yeah, Hunter's great, man. When we lock in, it's so much fun playing with him because he comes from such a non-traditional approach to the bass.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really fun playing with him. That Janis show is still that was a dream playing that stage. And to be there with Guavatron and the Heavy Pets, two bands that I absolutely love. And those guys are class acts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love Jamie.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
We talked about all the shows that have happened and I missed one. The Bayboro show was insane, absolutely insane. And again, this community is rivals the metal community. I'm going to say it because we will follow one band to see another band, to see another band, to see another. There's just this interconnected weaving. And like, perfect example, I mentioned I went on a work trip to Cleveland. I mentioned Pigeons playing ping pong. Coworker came up who I had never had a conversation with outside of work. Never had, barely ever talked to at work. Was like, hey, did you say Pigeons playing ping pong? I was like,
You
yeah.
run my speed of weird?
And she's like, you ever heard of a band called Lamp? And I was like, no. And she goes, check them out. They're playing tomorrow night. So I'm in Cleveland for work. I listened to them from the office to the drive back to the hotel. Literally bought my tickets for the next night.
That's amazing.
And amazing show, like incredible musicians through and through. And I just went, yep. And they showed up, her and her husband showed up, and we had a great time. And I was like, this is what it's all about. And, we talk about metal, jazz, funk, like it's all an assault on your senses. It's just how you perceive it. You
Hmm.
know, when you look at the guys like, and I'm reading this just because I took the note, funk, rock, and jamtronica. I don't think I've ever seen Jamtronica written out before. I've heard it, but I've never. But the lights, the atmosphere, and like you said, the intensity that everybody brought to that. You guys were honed in. That Janice show, the Bayboro show, Dunedin Brewery, like honed in on what was going on. So it was really cool to just see how we were time. We can't be that far away, so you might be hearing the same lightning. So that's pretty funny
Yeah.
now at
Yeah,
this
we can't
point.
be that far away. And it's funny too, because like we were just in the studio last night dialing in some new material, and we had some conversations about past shows, and BPMs come up all the time. Like, what's the tempo of the song supposed to be? And the couple shows that you mentioned that you said are were a good time for you were
Yeah.
shows where I probably got caught up in the moment a little bit and sped stuff up, but it worked. It doesn't always work, but when it
No, it
works,
doesn't. Listen, if
so
everybody else goes faster and the drummer doesn't, the drummer's at fault. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like we keep the beat. You follow us.
man, like Hunter will keep up or he'll do whatever I need to do. Michael Hibbler, David Rackhauer, you know, Brendan and Shane too. Shane's just there
Oh,
with me and Hunter.
Shane
You
being a
know,
beast and standing the whole time.
dude, he is an absolute banshee. Okay.
Unbelievable.
And I didn't get to fully understand what was going on in his perk set until we bought some units to get some inner ears,
Yeah.
because when you're using a wedge monitor, there's just a max of frequency that can come out of it. You're not hearing the full mix. And I was wearing earplugs at the same time to kind of save my ears because, I don't want to be deaf in the next 10
What?
years.
Huh?
But once we got the inner ears and I was able to dial in Shane in my mix, it made me the anxiety of certain parts of certain songs started to really alleviate because I realized how much him I use this term a lot. I like how he skates over me. I keep it kind of rigid, come back on the one, and he's skating over me the whole time, and it's
Discotheque.
amazing. It's great, man, and especially when we get locked in some fills and stuff, and we've been talking about it. Our my schedule hasn't been able to make it happen, but we've been really trying to work to get some time where it's just me and him in the studio. Because the one
Oh,
thing Minim hasn't had at a show yet is a drum percussion breakdown. We've never done it. Partially, probably out of my nerves and feeling inadequate to even approach that. Also, just not having the time to carve out with him to kind of link up on that type of thing. But that's something me and him have been discussing recently. And I think the other guys can admit that they probably have been waiting for us to get that together.
yeah.
So I don't know, man. You might see that here in before the year ends, So it'd be a lot of
Listen,
fun.
man, to this day, the Sully Erna and Shannon Larkin drum off where they were playing, if you've never seen that, one of the craziest drum offs ever. Yeah, percussion breakdown needs to happen. So I'm putting it down like you're gonna do it. Like it's gonna happen. And I think you're right. The two of you skate over because there was never a point where I was like, why is there two percussionists? Like why they're playing the same note. You guys literally intertwined all the music to make it like, oh, that's Shane, oh, that's Billy, oh, that's Shane, oh, that's Billy. Like it was a lot of fun to watch. And we joked about like one of Shane's sticks is back here that I got from the show because I'm still the guy who gets drumsticks from shows. I'm pretty sure the other drumstick is actually Jamie's from the Heavy Pets. It was from his brain emoji set the other
He's
night.
amazing. He's
Dude, that
amazing,
was
man.
that was
And
wild.
another class act. Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy. But he chops, like chops on a level that I'm okay that I won't ever be able to obtain that, but just chops on a whole new level.
I won't either, but my brain can. And that's what's so strange about it is that he'll do things like that's how we kind of like got connected is that I was air drumming with him and he started changing parts of the song. And I was right there with him the whole time. And afterwards, he was like, how did you do that? He's like, because I didn't even know like what I was gonna like. I didn't know I was gonna change things, and I was like, and so when I saw him play Brain Emoji, even him, and then the bass player Vinny, who he played with Photon. He's played with all these bands.
Dude, Vinny, hold on. Let's
Yeah,
take a second.
yeah,
Another
yeah.
amazing dude. We just have so many amazing musicians in the area. It's not even funny.
Dude can play anything. But he afterwards, he just looked at me and goes, "Dude, you were locked in," and I was like, I didn't make eye contact. Like I was literally like,
No, I mean, I locked in with you at Janice at one point.
"Oh
I,
yeah,
I didn't know who
oh
you
that is."
were. I was just like, you saw me look at you, you saw me give you the nod, you gave me the what's up. Like, that's a cool moment, man.
That was an amazing moment. Everything about that was, and it's a different
Yeah.
experience. It's a different feeling. And for you guys to want that for everybody else, and for that to be the reason you're back, gotta love this community. You gotta love this
Yeah,
community.
it's amazing. I gave Dunedin Brewery a shout out. They gave us a really good opportunity early on. We brought up Bayboro. Bayboro Brewing was amazing. We got to play there, kind of like one of the probably the first jam bands that got to play there once they got that stage set up. And they
So much fun.
saw the community come in full support, and it opened up the floodgates. And they've just really been good to our people and have given people an opportunity to play there, and that's really exciting. Definitely wanted to give Bayboro a shout out as well. They've been really good to us. I miss
Yeah, and
Ringside. Ringside was good to us back in the day. That unfortunately they had to close down, but yeah,
yeah, and going full circle, Unusual Noise putting on that show, man,
yeah.
that was
I
insane.
told Yeah, Michael, that's one thing I was like, "Dude, we need more from you guys. Like, bring it
Yeah,
on. Bring it on." And, him merging out of Dunedin, stepping out of his comfort zone and putting on top-notch productions,
absolutely.
45 minutes away from where he lives and bringing the crowd and the support, that's not just a testament to the music that he's providing, that's a testament to just who he is and how he moves in this industry. If it's just, Denver is one of those places where I've got to see amazing acts and they
Yeah.
just provide so many opportunities for musicians. So it's great. We love them we love them a lot.
I don't think I've ever brought this up, but because of that show at Bayboro, we got an Airbnb, so we didn't have to drive back to Palm Harbor. Like you said, about 45 minutes away. We don't meet that, we're packing up the next morning. The guy comes out to talk to us because he was like, "Oh, I had a gig last night." What do you mean you had a gig? I'm like, "Okay, I want to talk to this guy." I go, "What do you play?" He goes, "Drums." The Airbnb host is a drummer. And I was like, "What were the odds of that?" So I made a new friend. And it was what an experience it's all been. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well, we
super
hope to
excited
have
for
you out.
you.
Yeah, we hope to have you out soon again. We have some big announcements coming up. I can't talk about them right now. We got some good stuff in the pipeline. GMF is, at the top of our list right now. Gasparilla Music Festival. They've been great to us. And we're Sunday. Man, David's gonna kill me for this. I don't remember exactly what time, so I guess you're just gonna have to come for the whole day. I
No,
think
that's
it's
that's how that works. You have to go for the whole day.
but we're really looking forward to that. And we have some exciting new material ready to roll out and some new takes on some old material. That's the fun thing about kind of having those jam breakdowns is being able to switch stuff up and do different things.
Yeah.
I think we're at 4:30 maybe on Sunday at GMF. I
I
could be
mean, it
wrong.
looks great. I love
I'm
that
just the
there's
drummer. I have no idea
yeah,
what's going on. I still have no idea what I'm doing on the drums.
nobody
You
holds the
know,
drummer accountable for not knowing things ever. That's like part of the
well,
process.
it's funny how that works out. Are you familiar with Michael Gary?
Yeah. I love Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. He's helped me out a lot, kind of fine tune certain things like tuning and stick selection. And one day he saw my bass pedal and was like, dude, you are like overworking yourself right now. Like, let me help you out. Let me dial this in. He's let me play his kit at shows before. Yeah, he's a really cool guy that helped me I kind of look at myself like a caveman drummer. Like
Okay.
he twitches when he sees my snare head because I don't think I've changed it for like probably a year. But then he hears it and he's like, "Why is it still so poppy?" I'm like, "Listen, I got like two springs popping off the bottom right now. Like, I could just tell when he looks at that stuff. He's just like the eye starts twitching." But yeah, he's another guy, great guy to you'd probably have on here and do an interview. We call him Thunderfoot. So, you gotta have Thunderfoot on here.
Yeah. I met him at one of the Dunbrew shows. So
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, he played with the Heavy Pets and they played Operation of Flight. It was him instead of Jamie, and I was so like
Yeah.
stunned by it. I was like, "Oh, okay,
He
like I'm in
fits
on
in
this."
with if he's ever in the building at a show,
Yeah,
it's he's
they
gonna
just
he's gonna get a sit in.
they
He's
just
gonna
pop
get
him
a
right
sit
in.
in. Yep.
Well, man, I'm super excited for you, and I'm gonna take a moment. And anybody who's watched the show noticed that normally I'm wearing the jersey from the guy from the last episode makes them. But Doug and Amy, I'm gonna give you a huge shout out. Stay Tuned Records over in Tarpon Springs. I literally went on my lunch break today to go get the Dream Theater albums that they got in the store, which I found out they ordered Dream Theater because of me. So and they were like, "Hey, we have something for you." And it was this shirt. And they had remembered that I complained about being a bigger guy and no one ever having shirts. So they literally gave me a shirt in my size just for that. And this is not a paid platform. This is not anything of that. I literally decided to wear this tonight because we're talking about local. We're talking about how important this community is, this scene is, and, tangible items. So I'm so glad that you guys,
Support local. Support
yes,
local. Also, support a band if you wanna see them come to your area. I got made fun of for buying merch from a band I had never seen before, and I literally looked at the guy and I was like, "If I ever want this band to be able to make it to my town, I gotta support them somehow," you
yeah,
know? So, that's
I bought
amazing.
merch from I literally have bought merch from bands that I've seen once, and I'm like, "Oh, no, like, I bought your shirt because you guys killed it on stage." Like, that was
Mhm.
and then I wore that shirt somewhere else, and someone was like, is that them?" And I was like, "Yeah." And there was not enough space. I'm not gonna not talk about them because they played with Capstan, and that's a fun story time, finding out that I like a band that years later I find out that the drummer and I went to high school together.
That's crazy.
Just come like Hudson High, like Hudson in Pasco County. No one knew that that was gonna happen, but we could talk about that all night. But man, Billy, thank you so much. I know we had to deal with some technical issues, and every now and then everyone's gonna see that
Yep.
my arm's all bandaged up. That's a whole nother story. I'm good.
Man, you gotta stop the combat sports, man. Come on, man.
You know what? I got more injured with this than I ever did in jujitsu. So let's that's a whole nother like
Well,
conversation. But
again, before we start off, I just want to thank my band members for the opportunity to play with them. There's not a lot of instances where we have issues working through stuff, and it's been really nice to be with a group of guys that's in this just for the passion. And we're not forcing anything, we're not chasing anything. We all got in this to have fun, and it's still
yeah,
fun. And when it's not fun anymore, peace. I'll
yeah.
I'll I'll be out. You know what I mean? So thank you, guys at MiniM.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I was saying is with new material coming out, are we getting vinyls? Like, are we gonna go that route? Because
We're getting back in the studio. So another thing about our band is we all have day jobs. We all work. So the music is the passion, and the money that we make from the gigs that we play goes back into a band fund. It's afforded us the opportunity to buy better equipment. Everyone kind of gets a turn and being able to kind of upgrade themselves. Also,
Nice.
it gives us the opportunity to be able to pay for studio time. So we're trying to lock down where we're going to do our next recordings at. I mean, if you look at our Spotify, I think we only have like two or three songs. We just started a Bandcamp. Shout out Brendan. Started our Bandcamp page, and has done some video editing and putting some new material on a YouTube page and stuff like that. But other than that, also shout out Dave. He's our keyboardist. He's also our manager. He does a
Yeah.
lot behind the scenes to foster relationships with people, to give us opportunities like GMF. And I'm I'm sure there's better musicians out there that think, they should have that opportunity, but there's a lot that goes around behind the scenes to
Yeah.
foster those relationships and give you those opportunities. And then that, coupled with the support from the local community, has kind of rocketed us into an area where, if you would have told me this 2, 3 years ago, I would have laughed at you again. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
So shout out to my band. Appreciate the opportunity to play with everybody. Thank you to you as well. It was great seeing you and your wife at Bayboro. That was awesome. I wasn't expecting to see you there. And the whole hat thing, that'll always hold a special place in my heart, because I don't really give people an opportunity to make me feel good about what I'm doing, because I'm so hard on myself
Yeah.
after the shows, that you kind of just gave me this like woo-saw moment where it was like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe we're doing something right now. Okay.
Listen, respect is earned. That's the old adage, but you killed it up there. Anybody
I'll,
who's getting to go out there and play and live the dream, you know, we say,
mhm.
you
I'm
have
going to
my
put this
respect.
on record. Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm going to put this on recording too. There's a lot of other local St. Pete acts that have amazing drummers, amazing musicians. So, I know you got a lot on your plate. You're doing a lot of national artists. I've seen your page. I love the content. But I am going to challenge you and help you link you up with some other people in the local community to get some local stuff on here. And just thank you for what you do. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Listen, man, my goal is to have people reaching out to us. We've had a
Hmm.
few, but I'm like, I want people, I want to be overwhelmed by the fact that people want to do this. Like,
Hmm.
this is because I have a day job. I have my own passions. I have my own hobbies, but I love this. I get to talk about drums with amazing drummers who, most of the people lately I've been able to meet and hang out with and see live and experience that. So I think there's nothing better than that. So the last little bit I'll throw in is, while it may not be local to us, I'm gonna keep shouting out May Music in South Florida. It's MAE Music. Some of the
Hmm.
coolest people I've ever met, family run business, and they're bringing music stores back. And, we could have talked for hours about Sam Ash and Thoroughbred and Encore Music,
Thoroughbred,
yeah,
Paragon,
yeah.
back in the day.
Paragon,
Yeah.
AJ's Pro Percussion, like
Mars, but that was more like
Mars.
the Walmart, dude. I remember
I
walking to that place and seeing 100 drum sets on that whole mountain that they had,
yep.
and it was like, oh my gosh, this is
Well, you know
crazy.
what's better is that when Virgil Donati did a clinic there, he played at the top of the mountain.
Yes. Gosh, man. The one good thing
Right.
about Mars, though, before you let me go, is they always had that cymbal room that had a kit set up in it.
Yep.
So unlike most music stores where if you jump on a kit and you're playing and people can't hear themselves think, they're like, hey, shut it down. And if I'm being perfectly honest, like electric kits
Shut
are
the
great,
door.
but they don't feel the same. Yeah, you just shut the
Yeah.
door. It was great. It was great. Yeah, we're gonna have to rap about that again soon.
Oh, heck
We
yeah,
could
man.
talk all night, man, but I think we've gone over our limit that it's acceptable.
That's fine. Listen, it's all about technical difficulties in this line of work, but Billy, thank you again. I really do appreciate it. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the DrumQuig Podcast. Thank you so much.